For some reason, a lot of rumors bounce around the internet concerning foods and the time of day you should eat them. But the idea that your body would look at the clock and say, okay, visiting hours are over for these foods, well, it rarely works like that. So all those articles saying no fruit after 2 pm or fruit is the best in the afternoon, that's not backed up by research. So that's it, end of video, bye bye. Actually, hang on, maybe there are some interesting ideas to look at today. Now, the time of day might not be important when it comes to eating fruit, but what about when you eat it compared to your meals and other types of food? For example, does it matter if you have an empty stomach or if you just ate? Can you get more benefits from some fruit if you eat them before a meal, or after, or during? This is the Health Chronicle, and today we're going to answer the question, is there a good time to eat fruit? But before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to never miss a video. One myth that we've heard is that you should always eat fruit on an empty stomach. The reason is that if you eat it with a heavy meal, it slows down your digestion and the food will begin to rot in your stomach. But there are many problems with this idea. First of all, for something to rot, there needs to be bacteria. And most types of bacteria are killed off by the stomach acid. The acid in your belly is very powerful, with a pH as low as 2 or even 1. This can rise to about 6 when it's full of food, but it will quickly become acidic again. A few strains of bacteria, such as the infamous Salmonella, can survive on the food particles. That's why you can get food poisoning. But the majority of bacteria are killed off quickly, so food can't rot in your stomach. The other problem is that you digest everything in your stomach quite quickly. Most meals will have completely left the stomach in 4 to 5 hours, so certainly not enough time for any kind of rotting. Within 8 hours, it should have passed through your small intestine, and then it can take up to 40 hours to go through your large intestine. Alright, so those are some of the myths. What about the truth about when you should eat fruit? Well, it seems like the best time to eat fruit is at meal times. Whether it's before or during or after, probably isn't that important. But if you eat it between meals, the sugar in the fruit can lead you to produce more insulin to balance out your blood sugar. And once that has happened, it can make you hungry again. But that only happens if the fruit is low in fiber. Fiber slows down the whole process of digestion, so you won't get a spike in blood sugar that stimulates insulin production. Ripe bananas and melons are low in fiber, and so is most tinned fruit. Most fruit juices also remove a lot of the fiber in the process. So when it comes to snacking on fruit, choose the higher fiber options like the berries, passion fruit, coconut, and anything dried. Some citrus fruits, especially those high in citric acid such as lemons, limes, and grapefruit, are not a great idea on an empty stomach. They are particularly bad if you suffer from acid reflux, since you are just adding more acid without anything to balance it out. But citrus fruits do have a big benefit when eaten with a meal. First of all, they contain high amounts of vitamin C. This has a whole range of benefits on its own. It helps battle high blood pressure and heart disease, it's an antioxidant, and it can boost your immunity. But vitamin C also helps you absorb iron. Now, iron actually comes from your food in two forms, hem iron and non-hem iron. Hem iron is very easy to absorb and comes from animal flesh such as meat, fish, and shellfish. Non-hem iron is found in cereal, greens, and beans, for example. But vitamin C makes the non-hem iron into a different form and can help you absorb over 60% more. The other benefit of citrus fruits is that they contain two flavonoids called naringin and hesperidin. These two act like scavengers when you eat an unhealthy meal. They are antioxidants and they can protect you from the inflammation that some junk foods can cause, because your body treats this junk like an infection. Naringin and hesperidin also help protect the walls of your blood vessels and have some anti-cancer benefits. So there are some obvious benefits to eating citrus fruits with your meal. And finally, let's just finish by saying, don't worry too much about the timing. So long as you are getting a good amount of fruits and vegetables during the day, you will see most of the benefits. Maybe a banana is best eaten at 11:13 am, and maybe an orange is best combined with eggs and red wine. But it's impossible to live your life like that, so just do your best. Thanks for watching. You can watch more of our amazing content here. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications. Keep watching. See you next week.